Good afternoon, Sports Insanity Network fans. It's me, Mark Old Up Sky Halpern, here for another episode of the Sixth Man Up, along with my PIC Vice President Danny Boyd, Reginald. Dan, good afternoon. Actually, still good morning this time. Good morning. How you doing, buddy?
I'm good. How are you?
Awake.
Are we all?
So what are we here to talk about? But not the All-Star break, because that's not what this is about. We're talking a single team here, and we throw in some news with it.
The Knicks won an All-Star event, so that's great news.
Yes,
It involved the likes of Jalen Brunson, Karl
the,
Anthony Towns, and Allen Houston. Of course, it involves Allen Houston. So
the man who made the shot against Miami.
yes, um, nobody missed much from the All-Star game. I know. Apparently, got better numbers than last year, so that's a plus, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, the All-Star game again is not what it ever was gonna be.
Yeah,
I mean, nothing against these guys who won at it at the slam dunk contest, but you're never gonna replicate a Jordan or a Dr. J or a Vince Carter, you know.
yeah. What made the All-Star game appealing this time around, even though I didn't watch it, I was too busy watching Olympics, um, was the fact that there were stars out there playing. The slam dunk contest needs stars out there competing. If you want to really appeal to the fans, can we get a Wemby? You know, like these bullshit ass players are not going to help those competitions for All-Star weekend. That's just the bottom
Right,
line.
right.
Um,
And going for those extra events, that's, yeah, the actual All-Star game itself is a draw, but now you have all these events, make them good.
no. But I get it. Look, they want to do the All-Star tournament, wherever the heck that style is now. And you just live with it, I guess.
Well, one thing we love to live with is the way we get to start off our recap before the All-Star break, which pinned our top leading New York Knicks. Fall a half game behind by the end of these three games of the Boston Celtics, which is okay. It's not a problem. So the Knicks faced off, speaking of which, against the Boston Celtics and won 111 to 89 with points coming from one of our usual suspects, being Jalen Brunson, who's 31 points, 4 for 8 from 3-point range, 12 for 21 overall. And then Josh Hart again starting to mm, prove he's really healthy.
Yes.
Now he's starting to get in the mix more and more. 6 rebounds, 3 assists to go along with his 19. Towns, who is said he's still suffering from the eye injury a little bit, still pulled off a double-double with 11 and 10. And then it looks like it's almost every member of the bench played in this game, which
Yeah.
was great. Uh, to mention Dan's thumper, as we like to call, as I like to call him now, in Jose Alvarado had a had a nice time out there. It's like had a nice game, 25 minutes, 12 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists.
Yeah.
Did a little bit of everything. And that's something the Knicks needed more off the bench. Not to take anything away from Diawara, who played for 27 minutes and chipped in 10 points. And then obviously Mitchell did what Mitchell does best with his 9 rebounds as usual. Dan, Boston still not anything what we has come to likes and seen over the years. It's still that missing of Jason Tatum, which is the X factor for Boston.
But Boston's done a very good job of, for one thing, staying in the mix in the Eastern Conference. Now, of course, like I said, they surpassed the Knicks. So they've done a really good job at staying the course without Tatum. I know Tatum is starting to practice, which is huge. I don't know if he's going to get cleared to fully play, if anything, playoffs. But you also got to keep in mind that Achilles tear is a tough injury to come back from. And it really does take a year. So, yes, modern medicine, you can get back quicker, but recovery time's about a year. So, um, you know, like they're really trying to make a push so that they can make the playoffs. So give them credit. Knicks, however, they came out swinging in this game too, which is what we love. We talked about how Jose Alvarado is going to be a pest. Well, yeah, let's have him be annoying on the floor. Knicks have been craving for a player like this. We face players like Jose Alvarado. We don't have players like Jose Alvarado. New Yorker, who obviously grew up a Knicks fan, which is always great. Christ the King prodigy. Yeah, us New Yorkers, we like to be up on everyone's ass. And, we want to make it known we the real bullies out there. That's the type of player Jose Alvarado is. And Mark, I know you can get excited about Jose Alvarado. And I know that was just one game, that was his first game,
Right.
but it showed a lot.
The Knicks haven't had a person such as Alvarado, and going back in my mind, not that he is going to be as fearful,
Mhm.
but kind of Anthony Mason like, you know, but with a little bit more talent.
Old
Nothing, not to
school.
take a lot, nothing to take a lot against Anthony Mason, one of my favorite guys to see a different haircut come in every other game. You had to love that. But I think that's the role Alvarado is looking to play. And if you remember Knicks fans from those times when Mason played, he did not ever let anything stop him. He was in on everything, going for every rebound. The Knicks didn't care if he fouled out because they always had somebody, but his job was as an enforcer, be in on everything, box it. That's
Mhm.
what Alvarado's gonna do.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be good.
Yeah, you have to understand the no Jalen Brunson minutes are critical in Nickland. One of the things that the Knicks struggled last season was the bench. When we did not have Jalen Brunson on the floor, it was a disaster. Knicks couldn't score. They defended as best they could. I think the best bench series the Knicks had in the playoff last season was the Indiana series. Yeah, Boston and Indiana. I think those are the two better bench series. We had a terrible bench series against Detroit. It was not even close. But I say better. It wasn't great because when Brunson was off the floor, the Knicks didn't do anything. So
Right. And
you have to understand that part of it too.
right. And getting the bench used to coming in, whether it's for 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 minutes, it's going to build up not only the bench's confidence, but the starter's confidence, knowing that you're in the playoffs and it's okay to come out for 2 minute break, a 3 minute break. We know Tony Kolchak can do it. We know Alvarado's in there. We know Diawara and Hukaporti can help on the boards and whatnot.
Mhm.
This is something that this Knicks team has slowly been regaining over the
Mhm.
last few years, and you see
Yeah.
it as they inch closer to that trophy run.
Yeah.
And we could be seeing it here, but we can't say anything until the playoffs get here.
Yeah.
So the
And
Knicks won that. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm about to say, we can get more Jordan Clarkson from what we saw from the beginning of the year. That would be great, but not
Yeah,
happening.
no, he's been off, and you know, the Knicks didn't get him and expect him to come in and put up 20 points a game. That was not the goal for him. His goal was to be able to go out there and eat up some of those minutes that Jalen Brunson was down. And in my opinion, is that he's just not what he was a few years ago. He's not that guy who can give you 18 a game. You know, so what? This is only on a 1 year deal for him anyway. So we'll worry about his changeover next year. The Knicks moved on against another nemesis, and this is a nemesis that's been going on for a very long time. The Knicks took on the Indiana Pacers, losing
Mhm.
137 to 134 in overtime. And overtime has not been something the Knicks have, what do
Mhm.
you call it, ignored or not been a part of. They've been a part of plenty of an overtime win, but this time they were not on the winning side of it. Uh, had a couple of game highs actually with the overtime in here. Brunson put up 40, Shamet 17, Mikhail Bridges put up 22, Towns put up 22. But let's hear it for the boy, Josh Hart, the TD, the triple double. 15 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists, not to mention two steals and the block. That's what we call a five-tool guy. You get one from each category, you're looking good.
Yeah. I
This
love Josh
game,
Hart. I love him.
and we've gone on and on about Josh Hart, how much of an impact player he is, and how him being out of the lineup really changes the way the Knicks have to go at it. Another reason they went out and got Jose Avellardo is, God forbid something happened to Josh Hart. You have to figure he's the one who would be Hart's replacement in the starting lineup if somebody got injured. Um,
Yeah.
Off the bench, just mentioning the guy Avellardo, not a lot on the points, just really couldn't find the rhythm. 4 points on 1 of 5 shooting, but still contributed 5 assists and a rebound. That's I'm not upset about not him getting 20 points. Look where he contributed. He contributed to assists. Assists
Yeah.
get points. If he had a zero there or nothing, he's creating options. So that's what the Knicks want from him.
Correct.
This game was close. I mean, it was up and down. The Pacers took control in the third quarter. The Knicks bounced back in the fourth, and then the overtime that just fell short. Dan,
Yeah.
this was a hard fought game. And just as a quick note, the Knicks did shoot 50% from the field and only 30% from 3-point range.
Yeah. They it was a solid game about shooting out the Knicks. Um, does this sound familiar, Mark? 30 points from Pascal Siakam, 24 points from Andrew Nembhard, 13 points off the bench from TJ McConnell. I mean, Aaron Neesmith has 11 points. Like, and then of course let's add Quinn Jackson 29. Um, does that sound familiar to you? Because it
Sounds
sounds
like
like
last year.
exactly. Sounds like the Pacers who want to kick the Knicks' ass, right? Like,
Hmm.
of course, these Pacers are gonna come out swinging and trying to punch the Knicks out. Like, of course they are. Of course they are. And of course they fail. That's tough. That's tough. No
Yeah.
Tyrese, but it doesn't matter to them. They love facing the New York Knicks. Let's call it like it is, buddy. They love playing the New York Knicks. They love going to the Garden, and they love beating them.
And that's a big thing, what you just said right there. It wasn't the fact that the Indiana Pacers won. I mean, if you look at their record on the year, 14 and 40, it's not.
Signed right.
something that you could, not something you picture from last year's and the years before team. Madison Square Garden going along with the, yeah, Madison Square Garden is probably what was left of the Boston Garden, the most famous venue to win in. And the Indiana Pacers have played some big games in the Garden
Yeah.
and have lost some big games at the Garden. But Dan's right. There is no better feeling than beating them on their home court. And
Exactly.
this Knicks fans were out in full cheering this team
Oh
on.
yeah.
And to get that spear to the chest, that last second 3-pointer, what are you going to do? It is what it is.
Yeah. I mean, both of these
It was
games
a
against
tough loss.
Indiana, both of these games have been very close. The Knicks beat them by a point in December, and now they lose by
Right.
three this time around. So when
Oh,
come March, when they're back at the Garden, like I don't know what type of game we're gonna get. Um, I will say, good game out of Cat. We need more games like that from him.
mhm.
Brunson's unbelievable. Got a little cold late. Sometimes, sometimes you run into an annoyance like the Indiana Pacers, and you just gotta. There's nothing you can do about it. They love facing this Knicks team. They love them. They know every time they face the Knicks, they have confidence they're gonna win. So we just gotta figure out a way to make sure that we let them know we're better than you.
And that'll come important as it comes down the stretch because I know they faced the Pacers within the last 5 or 6 games, and that'll be very, very important. Because the Pacers are a fly in the ointment to the Knicks. That they're constantly buzzing and really making it. They play their best basketball when
Hmm.
they play the Knicks,
Yeah.
and that being said, every team should be playing their best basketball when you go out, but not always happen. The Knicks did not like that loss and took it out on the poor Philadelphia 76ers on a
Ooh.
massive blowout win of 138 to 89. But this wasn't a Jalen Brunson run show. He had 30 minutes, he had 9 points, he had 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Mikal Bridges with 22. Cat with yet again another double double, 21 and 11. But all the Knicks points seem to feature back end. It wasn't front end court, it was the bench. And we're going to go through. Diawara had 20 minutes in this game. That was to give a little bit of Mitchell Robinson a break as much as
Hmm.
possible. And he performed 14 points and 5 rebounds.
He was outstanding.
Um, Clarkson, 8 points, 1 of 3 from 3-point land, 3 for 4 from field, but nothing else to really go along except a turnover. Is not gonna cut it in the playoffs. However, our newly acquired Jose Avellardo, 19 minutes, 26 points, 8 of 13 from 3-point land. All the
Hmm.
guy did was shoot with 3 pointers.
Yeah.
I mean, it reminded me of the Glenn Rice game when he was in
Hmm.
Miami. And then, a little bit of help from everybody else. But to go along with Avellardo, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steals.
Hmm.
Danny boy, you're the guy you wanted
Hmm.
in his first 3 games is playing like an all-star.
He's exceptional. He is exceptional. Yeah, he was stealing the ball from everybody on that Sixers squad. It was funny watching him play defense against this Sixers team. By the way, missing Joel Embiid, so obviously they were going to struggle because they don't have him. Um, I'm joking, by the way, but yeah, no, it was a great team effort. Alvarado was tremendous. Diawara, we're hearing his name a lot more, which is it makes me feel good. That's pretty dope. Um, so good to see him on the stat sheet again. And again, he's contributing so many big minutes. It's amazing to watch Mo play. Yeah, I'm with you. The bench came up massive in this game. The starters didn't really have to do much. And again, I'm not crying over the fact that Brunson barely played. Sorry, barely scored, and you know, didn't contribute too much points wise because I knew the Knicks were having a great offensive game and the Sixers had no shots. So
Right.
I was okay with that. Um, yeah, overall, just a tremendous offensive game. And then, of course, defensively, Sixers, like I said, without Embiid, it's going to be a tough night and proved to be a tough night. They lost by nearly 50 points. So it never good.
Yeah. Just to break it down for you all, the Knicks took the first quarter 36-23, then took the second quarter 36-19.
Mhm.
The third quarter was probably the best quarter by both teams. So
Yeah,
32 Knicks, 29 Philly, and then yet again another 34-18.
yeah. Shout out to
I
Tyrese Maxey though. He had 32 on the night.
Yeah,
He
and
was off.
Maxi's an all-star. He knows it.
Yeah.
You know, when you're losing the guy who's responsible for not only the big portion of your rebounds and a big portion of your scoring, but he's a big defensive man no matter what. And some of the points that the Knicks got would not have been there. They would have been more challenged than they were. You know, this brings the Knicks now going into the turn, as I said, the Knicks half game behind Boston, which is fine. They will be playing tomorrow night against the Detroit Pistons. And if you're looking around and you're not in New York, this is a Prime Video game, so you can go
Mhm.
watch it on Prime. If you're in New York, you'll hopefully be able to see it on Madison Square Garden, unless they really want New Yorkers to riot any more than they already are. Um, Other news and notes that went around the league this week, just quickly. Kyrie Irving will miss the rest of the season. Is planning on coming back one more time. Uh Damn, I liked Kyrie. I really did. When he was up in Boston, I hate the fact that he was beating the Knicks. I loved him when he was with Cleveland. I just don't like him anymore. There's just something about him.
I mean, I think he certainly has been better personality wise, playing wise since he got to Dallas. So I don't know. I don't really hold anything to Kyrie anymore. Like, look, he's rehabbing from an ACL. Um, and again, like, he could have played this year, decided not to, which I think is the right call. And look, Dallas is not in good shape anyway, so you ain't missing much. So yeah, don't
Right.
play for a bunch of rejects. Play when the team's actually better, which I think they will be next season. I don't know how much better, but they'll be better. And no, I look again. I'm not holding any of his past things against him because those were in the past. I just hope that he comes back stronger, better than ever, and plays with that championship mentality that he had while obviously Luka was here. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah. You know, again, to me, why wasn't it Mark Cuban making this trade? Why did he let trading Luka
well, I mean,
Doncic?
yeah, well, I mean, how much of a say does he have now that he's no longer the owner? I mean,
Well, right. I know, but yeah, whatever. I'm sorry. You trade.
I don't know,
It's not
like,
like the Lakers have really
you know,
benefited from it. So, I
so
guess that's the other way.
So far, they're in a good spot though. Just saying, like so far, they're actually, they're actually playing some good basketball. You know,
So we had an interesting situation, Dan, and this didn't deal with one thing. It dealt with a guy being traded and then being re-signed for less by the team he was traded from. The Timberwolves re-signed Mike Conley by re-signing the 19-year veteran 2 weeks earlier after trading the poor guy. He was first sent to the Chicago Bulls, who then packaged him with Kobe White in a swap with the Charlotte Hornets. And then the day after that, Conley waived, and then the Minnesota Timberwolves said, "Okay, we'll take him back." And he's now back home. So the guy is repracticed and ready to take the court after literally going with state back to this state in a week. Dan, I hate with situations like that when you trade for a guy who's then thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm going to be paid for the rest of my season." But what happens to that guy? You get to that stadium and you're told, "Not we're releasing you. Sorry, goodbye." What is this player
hmm
supposed to do? In this case, he got lucky with
yeah,
Minnesota, but
yeah. It's rare that you get traded twice. And that's exactly what happened. He got traded twice. Like, um, and of course that's the reason why he's back in Minnesota because he was actually eligible to go back to Minnesota because of that. Um, and of course signing into that minimum contract and lowering their
right.
tax bill. It's so weird. It doesn't happen. Um, of course, Conley has had a great season, so you know,
Uh, I just thought it was a
yeah,
funny
yeah,
little thing.
it's hilarious. But I'm just saying, like, I think
Yeah.
for what he's gonna get, I think it's a great move for Minnesota because you're not getting much from him anyway. So,
Right.
um,
His experience will pay off later down the end of
oh yeah,
the trail. I mean, you're in the league
100%.
19 years. You got to bring something. I mean, that is going to do it for this episode
Yeah.
of the Six Man Up here on the Sports Insanity Network. Please look for us at www.thesportsinsanitynetwork.com for all your blogs and vlogs. Dan always mans the other social. Dan, where are we at on that other social?
At S Insanity Real on Facebook and X. Please follow our socials and go log on to
Yep.
our website and all that stuff. Real quick before we leave, do you agree with Mark Cuban and that the NBA should embrace the tanking because it improves fan experience?
It's a teeter totter. Literally, one
Yeah.
inch one way, 1 inch the other way. I can see it on both planes being even. But I understand where Cuban's coming from.
Mhm.
Do I necessarily agree with it? I don't know. I'm sitting in the middle on that. I'm balancing there.
Yeah, it's like, look, yes, it involves getting the right players and you're investing in your team and everything. Um, Everything else he said about the NBA, about how they're not really in the business of the fans, I think he's 100% right. Read that article, it's on ESPN. Of course, he goes on a massive spiel on X. But very interesting comments he had to say. I'll leave it at that. Yep, like I said, X, Facebook, S Insanity Real, website, and YouTube. Subscribe.
Yep.
It's easy. Just hit that button right there. When you go for that notification bell, hit all so that you could see everything that comes online, whether it's live, whether it's pre-taped, everything that we post on SIN.
Yeah. Tune into the live shows. Batters It Up is returning this week. Check out the SIP pod, this the original pod, the one that got started it all with Dan and Bill on Mondays and Fridays. They cover up some of the stuff that we don't. Tune in to Sundays. Why? It was Sunday sign up, but that's not batters up again. We're gonna have batters
Hmm.
up twice a week. We will also be continuing, Dan and I will be continuing the six man up while the Knicks keep progressing.
Yeah.
We hope you all have a nice day and look out for if you're in the Northeast, look out this weekend because we got another storm a brewing. Not for
Mhm.
Dan's area. Dan's area look like they're gonna get some rain. Yeah,
Mhm.
us here in New
Getting
York,
rain
it's not.
and upper 50s.
Yeah, it was nice. We hit about 50 yesterday, so that was nice. That was a
Yeah.
good walk with the
So
puppy.
so
But
look, clearly the snow ain't gonna be gone from you, but the snow's gonna be gone from me. So hot.
everybody take care. And you know what? We'll catch